Next one, sorry, 19, number 19. Okay, that's great. Thank you so much. Okay, my apologies for the mess up today. I need to sort out my laptop. I will once again recite the verse and we will read the translation and purport. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Tada rajastamo bhava kama lobhadayasya chetayetranavitham sitam sattve prasidati. Tada rajastamo bhava kama lobhadayasya chetayetranavitham sitam sattve prasidati. Word by word translation. Tada, at that time, Rajaha, in the mood of passion. Can you mute? No, I don't.
Welcome back to my channel. My name's Danielle Collins, and people often ask me.
Thank you. So, word by word translation. Tada, at that time, Rajaha, in the mode of passion. Tamaha, the mode of ignorance. Bhavaha, the situation. Kama, lust and desire. Lobha, hankering. Adayaha, others. Cha, and. Ye, whatever they are. Chetaha, the mind. Etai, by these. Anavidham, without being affected. Sthitam, being fixed. Sattve, in the mode of goodness. Prasidati, thus becomes fully satisfied. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. So I will read the translation and someone can read the purport. There are 3 paragraphs, so maybe 3 person can read. The translation. As soon as irrevocable loving service is established in the heart, the effects of nature's modes of passion and ignorance, such as lust, desire, and hankering, disappear from the heart. Then the devotee is established in goodness and he becomes completely happy. Purport. Can anyone please read the first paragraph?
May I, Prabhuji?
Please, Mata.
A living being in his normal constitutional position is fully satisfied in spiritual bliss. This state of existence is called Brahmabhuta or Atma-ananda, or the state of self-satisfaction. This self-satisfaction is not like the satisfaction of the inactive fool. The inactive fool is in the state of foolish ignorance. Whereas the self-satisfied Atma-ananda is transcendental to the material state of existence, this stage of perfection is attained as soon as one is fixed in irrevocable devotional service. Devotional service is not inactivity, but the unalloyed activity of the soul.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Would anyone else like to read the second paragraph, please? Please.
Can I?
Yes, please.
The soul's activity become adulterated in contact with matter, and as such, the diseased activities are expressed in the form of lust, desire, hankering, inactivity, foolishness, and sleep. The effect of the devotional service becomes manifested by complete elimination of these effects of passion and ignorance. The devotee is fixed at once in the mode of goodness and makes further progress to rise to the position of Vasudeva, or the state of unmixed sattva or Sudha sattva. Only in the Sudha sattva state can one always see Krishna eye to eye by dint of pure affection of the Lord. Hare Krishna. Shall I continue, Prabhuji?
It was face to face. Okay, maybe anyone else could read the third. If not, then
I can try.
Yes, please, Bhagavati Mataji.
Hare Krishna. A devotee is always in the mode of unalloyed goodness. Therefore, he harms no one. But the non-devotee, however educated he may be, is always harmful. A devotee is neither foolish nor passionate. The harmful, foolish, and passionate cannot be devotees of the Lord. However, they may advertise themselves as devotees by outward dress. A devotee is always qualified with all the good qualities of God. Quantitatively, such qualifications may be different, but qualitatively, both the Lord and his devotees are one and the same. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Bhagavati Mataji. So we will recite our Mangalacharan prayers. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurum Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Khadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijan Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitam Sha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patidanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivas Adi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Namo Vishnu Padaya, Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale, Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharine, Nirvishesa Sunyavadi Paschat Deshatarine. Kam karoti vachalam pangum langaite girim yatkripa tamam deshi. Hare Krishna. Sorry, my voice is also. Okay, so we are probably running a little bit late, so we'll try to cover as much as possible. Okay, so we are on this verse now, verse number 19. And we've been hearing for the last couple of days how these verses starting from 16 until 21 define the 9 stages of bhakti. And where we are today is technically in the ruchi and asakti. So the previous verses we had Nashta Pravesha Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. Naishtiki is Nishtha. So the 9 stages are in the order of Adav Shraddha. First thing that happens is we get some little bit of Shraddha, and that can happen because of some causeless mercy or some unknown, or even we can recognize some pious activity we might have done, and that creates some Shraddha, or maybe out of Shraddha we have done that. And from Shraddha what happens is we desire for Sadhu Sangha, and Sadhu Sangha we get into Bhajana Kriya. From Bhajana Kriya then we get Anatha Nivritti, then we get Nishtha, then we get Ruchi, and then Asakti, and the Bhava and Prem. This is like the 9 steps. So this is very important for us devotees to know this, because it seems like in every religion there is a defined process of their worship or whatever perfection. So our acharyas have defined these 9 steps, 9 steps in the process of perfecting bhakti. And we are always, I mean, they pretty much define, where we might be in the journey. And obviously most of us practicing devotees, who have little shraddha, and we aspire for sadhu sangha, and we perform some bhajan kriya, we chant our rounds, and we associate with devotees, and we perform devotional services. And so we are in that stage of anatha nivritti. That's a long stage for most of us, and we continue that. And then by the grace of devotees, as we were reading in the previous verse, what happens is, once we are performing, the 2 things. One is Nashtaprayesha Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. 2 types of Bhagavatas, the book Bhagavat and the person Bhagavat, and the service that continues. And this is Nityam Satatam Kirtayanto Mam. And the various places of Bhagavad Gita also, Krishna mentioned this of regularly, Nityam, Satatam, Satatam. And by that means is that we can then develop that irrevocable bhakti, which irrevocable is nishtha. Nishtha means at that stage, devotee is fully firmed up. There's no going back from there. That's the aim. And Nashtaprayesha also, what happens? All the anarthas get destroyed to almost nil. They're not fully destroyed at this stage. What was previously, before we read Srinavatam Swakatha Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtana Hridayantesto Abhidrani Vidhunoti Sutsatam. So all the inauspiciousness from the heart is cleansed. And today's verse, now we are in the 1:8, 1-19, which is the staging of Tada Rajas Tamo Bhava. Tada is then, at that time. At what time? At the time when devotee is established with the nishtha. So he is performing devotional services regularly. This is not what we call a fair weather devotee, like today the weather is nice. I had a good rest, so I can maybe, chant some rounds this Saturday, nothing much to do. Why not we chant some rounds? Not like that. It's a nityam bhagavad seva. Then the cleansing of the heart happens. And Mahaprabhu also defines that there's a word here, cheta. Cheta means the mind. Cheto darpana marjanam bhava mahadavagani nirvapanam shreya karyavat sandrekha vitvarnam. Does anyone know the verses? The Sikshashtakam?
Yes, Prabhuji.
It's so beautiful. Would you like to chant the first verse?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Please chant, Mataji.
Start
So
the
purified.
Prabhuji, please. If you can start.
Say again, sorry.
Can you start the first line?
Cheto darpana marjanam bhava mahadava. Yeah, go on.
Cheto dharpanamarjanam bhava mahadavagni nirvapanam shreyakairva chandrika vitaranam vidyavadu jivanam anandam buddhi vardhanam pratipadam purnamritasvadanam sarvatma snapanam param vijayate Sri Krishna Sankirtanam nam namakari bahuda nija sarva saktis Tatrarpita niyamita smaranena kalaha etadarshi tava krapa bhagavan mamapi durdaiva samihajani nanuragaha
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, so we will probably go back. It's chanting very nicely. We like just doing that. Thank you. But I just want to make a point there. So we talked about Cheto Darpana Marjanam, and that mind, how it can be purified by chanting of the holy names regularly. Our condition is Nam Namakari Bahuda Nija Sarva Shakti Tatra Pita Nemita Smarnena Kala Ita Drishi Tava Kripa Bhagavan Mamapi Durdayum Idrasham Ihajani Nanurage. So the second verse towards the end was saying, I have, Ita Drisha Tava Kripa Bhagavan Mamapi. So even though the Lord has made, so he's put all his potency in his holy names. And there are no rules, or no fast rules and regulations for chanting holy names. But I have no taste for this, unfortunately. So this is the situation that we happen to be in. Not all of us, maybe just me. But when we start chanting around, that mind goes here and there and here and there because of two things, which is the mode of passion and ignorance, the desire and hankering. These two things are the obstacles, things, they're big obstacles on the path of devotional service. Goes on, and as we more and more do the marjanam is rubbing with the wire mesh, with the chanting, the darshan, with the Krishna, and as we speak more and more Krishna Nam, then it cleanses the heart of the hankering and lamentation. We've discussed it before. A living entity in his normal constitutional position is fully satisfied in spiritual bliss when it's normal. So that's interesting. Prabhupada making that point in his normal constitutional position. So that defines pretty much all of us here abnormal in our current state of position. This state of existence is called Brahma Bhuta or Atmananda, or the state of self-satisfaction. Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma na sochati na kankshati sama sarveshu bhuteshu mad bhakti labate param. Brahma Bhuta Prasanna Atma. The same concept here. So once the hankering and the desire. So when does the Brahma Bhuta state is achieved? When there is no hankering. So mode of passion is when we desire to have more and more and more. In the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita also Krishna says that Dhyayate Vishyan Pumsa Sangasteshu Pajayate Sanga Sanjayate Kama Lobho Vijayate. So we say, Kama Krodho Pajayate. So, dhyayate vishayan pumso sangasteshu pajayate sanga sanjayate kama krodho pajayate. So when we start with the little meditation on the object of sense gratification, a little bit only, it takes like one blink of eye, a devotee looks at something and some desire because of the previous conditioning and all the unmanifested kuta and bija, all the seeds from the previous desires which are inside the heart, that gets even more flared up, and then the next desire comes up. So, and then the desire goes more and more, and that takes the devotee into the passion. And if the desire gets fulfilled, then what happens? Does anyone know? If the desire gets fulfilled, there's a small, like a flow chart. So if the desire gets fulfilled, two things can happen. If the desire gets fulfilled, what can happen is?
We want more?
Yeah, the more and more, then the greed develops. It's funny how it works. And if the desire does not get fulfilled, and at some stage, because maybe we have more greed and maybe a little bit more is fulfilled, and then we get more greed. And at some stage, the nature of the material world is that at some stage, we will not be able to fulfill that desire. And then the anger develops. So, and then, then we have the other problem. If the other thing is, if we don't get the desire fulfilled, there's also some lamentation that happens. Oh, I could not get this, I could not get that. And then the devotee goes in that constant passion and ignorance. Ignorance is lamentation. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita again, like lamentation. Krishna says to Arjuna, "Na shochitum tam arasi." Like so many times, "Na shochitum, na shochitum." Do not lament. Do not lament. There is no need to lament. The lamentation and hankering is always to do with the material body. It is not to do with the soul's natural constitutional position, as Prabhupada explains. It is only in the stage of the material life that we happen this. But prasannata, bhuta, brahma bhuta prasanna atma. So this is the same situation. One tada rajas tamo bhava kama lobha adayaschaye. Kama lobha adayas are the six: lust, anger, greed, illusion, madness, and envy. Kama, krodh, lobha, moha, matsar. That's six of them. Yeah, they discussed yesterday, the day before, we discussed that. So these six, lobha, adi. So kama, lobha, adi. The remaining, all of these things. All of these things, which once we have the strong nishtha, or once we are fully established in the situation, we will not go back from that. Like after many, many years of practicing, we hope to get there when we don't, desire to get into that loop of the kama, the krodha, and the lobha, and all that. This is our, sadhana, the process of sadhana bhakti. But obviously, the main process is apart from a sadhana, which is the bhajan kriya. We also have to have the serving of the service to the Bhagavata devotees, pure devotees. When we serve them by the mercy, by their prayers, we start to get some cleansing. So it works both ways. So without sadhana, we don't get the purification. So Cheto Darpana Marjanam, as we perform more devotion, as we chant, as we serve, we get mercy. By the chanting, we get purification of the heart. So both work in parallel, and then bit by bit, our anartha nivritti, that keeps happening. All the anartha nivritti means all the unwanted things or unwanted elements in life start to disappear bit by bit. It does work actually. If we all see, I don't know, maybe some of you have always been in that situation, but some of us remember how things, we just forget about what we used to do in the past. Like if someone meets us now and says, we used to do that, really, I can't even remember. Most of the things it's amazing how Krishna's magic works. Things just, the unwanted things just disappear one by one. And the process works, and we've seen how we've seen the other devotees, and so many wonderful devotees we meet in temple, or we meet so many other places in yatra, and we see that process, how the process is working, and how the devotees they're always in this spiritual bliss. They're always blissful. That's prasannatma. And that Prabhupada explained that this self-satisfaction is not the satisfaction of the inactive fool. This is because some people also say ignorance is bliss. Yeah, it's ignorance. The mode of ignorant people who are just completely inactive, not doing anything, there also seems to be in the bliss. Self-satisfaction does not mean to do nothing. Self-satisfaction means to do in the service of the Lord. The inactive fool is in the state of foolish ignorance, whereas the self-satisfied Atmanandi is transcendental to the material state of existence. This stage of perfection is attained as soon as one is fixed in irrevocable devotional service. Devotional service is not inactivity, but the unalloyed activity of the soul. So as the devotees go beyond the three modes by the process of the devotional service, again, Mam cha yo avipicharena bhakti yogena sevate sagunan samatitayatam brahma bhuyaya kalpate. So that's another stage where the devotee, Krishna, again from the 14th chapter 26 verse, explains that by the avibicharini, means without any failure, without uninterrupted, So we also, the Haituki apratihata yatma suprasidati. So this prasidati word comes here again and again. Prasidati means someone who is fully satisfied. And how, and what is the nature of, how do you say someone is satisfied? Once we are satisfied within or in the service of the Lord, then we get peace. That's the peaceful state. And the other aspect is the nature of mode of passion and ignorance is like a unfavorable situation. And what is favorable is the sattva-guna. And what are the qualities of sattva-guna? Again, 9 qualities. Does anyone know? Someone who is in the mode of goodness, like 18th chapter, Krishna explained.
Truthful, humble.
Cleanliness.
Yes.
Truth.
Dhamma, Shuchi.
Yeah.
Samo, Dhamma, Shuchi.
Learned. Knows Vedas.
Learn the Veda. Yes. Jnana, Vijnana, Astikyam. And there's also Arjavam. So,
Self-control.
Self-control. Yeah. So Sama means it's the control of the mind, or self-control. The Dhamma is like sense control, mind control, the sense control. And then the Suchi. Suchi is the cleanliness of both inside and outside. And
truthfulness.
Arjavam. Suchi is also truthfulness. Arjavam means simplicity of the heart. This is another great quality of devotees we see is they are very simple-hearted. They have no scheme. So scheming means duplicitous behavior is very dangerous. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, there are many, many stories like that. We don't have a lot of time today. It's already 34. We're not even started, so we're late. So simplicity of heart is very important to stay in the mode of goodness. If we're not simple-hearted means we say the way it is. For example, it's a very beautiful example, and it's amazing example. God Govind Maharaj says that. When I read, I was really amazed, like how simple actually what it means. So he's saying that, let's say there is prasadam being distributed, we are all sitting in a row, and in the prasadam is sometimes getting served. Like in India, you'll see sometime in the yatra, some places they would make the devotees sit, and there someone would be serving. Like at our home, we get some the programs, we get some situation like that. What he was saying is, let's say there is a very nice prasadam being served, whatever the favorite gulab jamun or whatever, and we are sitting with another devotee. And as the server starts to serve, the devotee sitting next to us says, no, he does not want it anymore. When it comes to us, we kind of hesitate. Okay, he's saying he's not taken any. If I take, what will people think? Will they think I'm greedy? Will they think, I eat too much? And then I say, no, I don't want. Although within the heart, I want to have that prasad. But then I am, out of those thoughts and saying, no, what will others think? Or, because the next one is not taking, I should not take. Otherwise, I would look less, lesser of a devotee. That's not simplicity. That's amazing. Simplicity means, oh, yes, I want it. I like it. I will have it. This is prasadam. It's not in the sense the greed aspect of it, but being simple enough to present one's desire to the devotees. Is one of the also the Guhyam Akhyati Prachyati. This is how we develop relations with the devotee. We open our heart and we listen to the other devotees like that. So this is Arjavam is very important. No duplicity means we don't present ourselves as something that we are not. We are always in that state that we are. We are very simple, straightforward in our dealings with the devotees. That's very important. And Jnanam, Vijnanam, Astikyam. And the Brahmanas have the knowledge of the soul, the Jnana, Vijnana, and both also the realized knowledge. And Astikyam, they're religious like that. There are, I think, 9 qualities. Again, 9, quite a few, 9. Now the Bhakti, 9 stages of Bhakti, 9 also qualities of the Brahmanas. But Vaishnavas, Vaishnavas are naturally Brahmanas. So Vaishnavas develop all those qualities a Brahmana has naturally. So Vaishnava is one who is the devotee of the Lord. Who is what type of devotee? Is like unalloyed devotee. Like avyabhicharine, bhakti yogina says. Who is not, he's always serving the Lord. He's always constantly thinking and serving of the Lord. So that is the state of a Vaishnava, and Vaishnava is always in that state. So there is no question of any passion or ignorance for a devotee. Whereas the others, like Karmi and Jnani, another state is like Vaishnava is also higher, like Brahman is like Brahma Janati iti Brahman. But there's also like Brahma, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. 3 stages we read in this chapter earlier, right? The Brahmeti, Paramatmeti, Bhagavaneti, Shabdate. The Vaishnava knows all these 3 aspects and is always worshipping the full. So Bhagavan, Brahmeti, Paramatmi are like the partial, how do you say, partial manifestation of Lord's grace, and the Bhagavan is fully, full devotional service, the personal aspect. Impersonal aspect is only partial. Personal aspect are the full aspect of the Lord. That's one thing. But the problem with the karmis are engaged in the karma kanda, and they want to. So they are like the 3 types of devotees Prabhupada is explaining here. The harmful, the foolish, and passionate cannot be devotees of the Lord. Harmful is funny. Can anyone guess the harmful? What does Prabhupada mean by harmful? He says, but the non-devotee, however educated he may be, is always harmful. How are they harmful?
Creating problems, offenses.
Yes. And also misguiding.
Yeah, very
Misguiding
true.
the people. Because someone may be very educated and it could be just, in any aspect, even, they may be pandit of the scriptures. There are many such like that. So Gyanis, the Gyanis class, they are harmful because if they are not properly directed, fully devoted to the Lord, they can create a lot of illusion for people and misguide people into the impersonal aspect of the bhakti. So that's why they are considered as the harmful ones. That's so amazing, Prabhupada's explanation of harmful. And then the foolish is one who is the inactive types, or the ones who are in ignorance. Yeah, they're always creating disturbance, and the passionate are the passionate devotees. Not. So Prabhupada said the harmful, foolish, and passionate cannot be devotees of the Lord. However, they may advertise themselves as devotees by outward dress. So this is interesting what Prabhupada is saying here. So there are, there may be many such like that, and they may be within our own institute as well, which may be, wearing a dress of a devotee, but may not have the right intention or may not be properly situated. So they are also dangerous. I take on like that because they are dressed as devotee. A devotee is always qualified with all good quality of God. Quantitatively, such qualification may be different, but qualitatively, both the Lord and his devotees are one and the same. There's another verse in Bhagavatam which explains that Harava Bhaktasya Kuto Madguna Manorathena Sati Dhavato Vahi. So all the devotees, Yashasti Bhakti Bhagavati Kinchana Sarve Gunes Tatra Samasate Sura. So the devotees have all the qualities, all the good qualities of gods or demigods also. That verse is more of a demigod. They have all the quality of demigods. But someone who may have all the good quality, but harava bhakti, so harava abhaktya, who are not the devotee of the Lord, even though they may have all the good qualities, but they can always be, they're always vulnerable to fall in the trap of material nature because they are surrendered to the Lord. So, mama maya duratya, mam evai prapadyante, maya metam kalantite. So unless anyone with whatever qualities, however good they may be, unless they are surrendered to the Lord, the good qualities is dangerous, and they are, they can fall any moment, any time. this, but the devotees, because always working in the prayojan or in the same goal as the Lord's, this becomes like, Prabhupada gives a simple example of iron and fire. Like if the iron is put inside the fire and it stays in the fire for a long time, iron gets the same quality as the fire. So you can't differentiate between one and the other. And that's the situation. Devotees are constantly engaged in the services of the Lord, associating with the Lord's devotees, and Nityam Bhagavatam Seva, every day reading Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, and chanting. This makes them the most qualified, and they become same as Lord, maybe different in quantity, but similar in the quality. Response is already 43. Sorry, it's been a bit. So maybe we can discuss anything more. Anyone has any questions or any thoughts?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, Mataji.
Thank you for a wonderful class. Prabhuji, I was just thinking about demigod worship because I was reading Bharat Maharaj's pastime. And in that, Bharat Maharaj seemed to be doing karma kandi kind of activities. But in his heart, he knew that he was offering all the results of his sacrifices to the Lord, to the Supreme Lord. And he was very clear about his the demigods being part and parcel of the Lord. So in that respect, would we be too judgmental about people who are worshipping demigods? I'm just sort of thinking aloud here.
Yeah, and the devotees are never judgmental to anyone, because one of the quality for devotees, they are always compassionate. See, the worshipping of the demigod, everyone, they're in the different state. Devotees have gone past the stage, because everyone who has now come to the stage of worshipping Krishna is, I've heard in many classes, they're likely that they have already done their bits of devotional, whatever, or worshipping of the demigods.
Yes.
They've done that. So devotees and demigods are also the devotees of the Lord. So we respect them, but we don't treat them as the same as the Lord. That's the second offense against the holy name. But to answer your question, like, we don't judge anyone. So there a lot of them are also, in some sense, they are innocent ones. Yes, they're innocent ones who have been trained like that since they, from the family culture, or this is what's been going on. But it's amazing to see that many of them, if they are innocent and they are simple at heart, they get the mercy of devotees so easily, quickly. And they get Bhagavad Gita, they start reading, they just instantly get it. So I think they are glorious. It's just a matter of time for everyone to become devotee. And, in one way, everyone is a devotee. It's just that, at different stages. And there's this verse which says what the love is dormant within everyone's heart. And it's only by hearing, and that dormant love can be manifested. So thank you for raising this. But it is a very big question even for us, like how we treat demigods. Like when I was new in the Krishna consciousness, I used to hear a lot, and also had developed some sort of like we read the pastimes in Bhagavatam. Okay, Indra did this, or Lord Brahma did that, and we start to talk, or maybe speak a little bit less about, like, in a derogatory way, but we just forget that they are they're also great devotees of the Lord. They're very powerful, and they are being chosen to be at that place because of certain qualities they have. Nothing happens without reason, and they're all like different department heads, and they're all being chosen by the Supreme Lord Himself. So we respect them, and we know they are great devotees. We know where to put the water, the root is we are aware, so we just water the roots and not the leaves and the branches and the twigs.
Absolutely. Thank you, Prabhuji.
So
Very clear.
thank you so much. Amazing. Thank you. Any other discussion point? There's another thing is also like the other aspect of following whether the bhakti mukti siddhi kami sakala shant. So there is this verse in Chaitanya Charitamrita where Mahaprabhu says, Krishna bhakta nishkama ataeva shanta bhakti mukti siddhi kami sakala shanta. Krishna's devotee is always shanta. Again, the same aspect of shanta comes because he's peaceful because he has no desire. Ataeva nishkama. So he has no desire. That's why devotee is always shanta. He's always peaceful because he understands that Bhoktanam yagitapasam sarva loka maheshwaram suridam sarva bhutanam yatva mam shantim richati. Because he knows the peace formula. Who is the enjoyer? That's why devotee is very peaceful. Other thing I was thinking is just now, can anyone tell me how these verses, the 5 verses that we've been just reading, and obviously Prabhupada has written the Bhagavatam translation and beautiful purpose and he's done all that. Where else has Prabhupada mentioned these 5 verses? Something very important. And devotees, all of us should know. Maybe we all know that. It's just a quiz question. Prabhupada mentioned these 5 verses.
Is it Bhagavad Gita, Chatushlokhi Bhagavad Gita or no? No.
Chatushlokhi, yes, but these particularly 5 verses Prabhupada quotes somewhere. I'll keep that. Very important for us, and then we can spend 5 minutes on that. So have we heard of Markine Bhagavad Dharma? Prabhupada wrote a song. Has anyone heard? Boro Kripa Kaile Krishna Adhamer Pati?
That the Vrindavan Chandra Prabhu was reciting those.
Okay.
Yes.
A couple of days ago. Okay.
Yeah. He was reciting these verses.
Yes. That's where Prabhupada, when he was on board to
landed. Landed.
That's when he was
Boston,
Yes. And with these 5 verses, Prabhupada has so much conviction that, by these verses, by Bhagavatam, anything impossible will become possible. And it's amazing prayer, amazing song that can be, it's nice that Prabhuji has already recited these verses. It's amazing.
Hare Krishna Shyam Hari Prabhu. I was just thinking, these the Naimisharanya, all the sages, Shuddha Goswami, when first Shuddha Goswami heard from Shukadev Goswami, and then he decided the same, just retailing the whole thing to these sages in Naimisharanya. He just recited the verse and they understood, they perfected their life. And now we are reading Bhagavatam. Now every day we are reciting, then somebody has to explain it to us. Still it's not going in our head and to make our life perfect. I was just thinking how much more, because of the Kali Yuga, how much more we need to become on that pure stage, like Parikshit Maharaj just heard once and then just went back to spiritual world. And then, Shuddha Goswami, then he's speaking just the verses, not even the explanation. They're just getting everything, getting purified, and they will go back. So how long we have to keep on hearing the Srimad Bhagavatam and explained by so many wonderful devotees, how much we got to get so much anartha in the heart. So when we get to get all clean and, maybe one day something will happen. I was just wondering today, as I was reading, and I said, how much Srila Prabhupada has given us, just spoon feeding us. Still it's not going inside. Still the heart is not getting clear. And I was just thinking
I think this is because we're already 2,000 years down. And it's already announced in the beginning of the chapter, this is the Manda Bhage. What is Manda Samanda Matayo? Manda Bhage Upadita. We already, I think most problem is disturbance. The disturbance because of the Kali situation of always quarrels and hypocrisy is so much out there. There's constant of that going on. So there is so much disturbance for everyone, for devotees as well. The devotees are disturbed in Ukraine at the moment and all over the world, different places, Bangladesh also. Even though we are doing so much, but the nature of this Kali is like that. But then there is, Asti Ek Mahan Guna. Kale Dosh Nire Rajan, Asti Ek Mahan Guna. Krishna, Krishna's name is the, with just by chanting of the holy names, that we can perfect our lives. This is the Mahan Guna of the Kali Yuga. So which is that way, it's easier for us as well. We don't have to, what is the question of us, reading, understanding all these just by the verses. Nobody has the knowledge of Sanskrit or grammar. It takes 12 years to just learn the grammar and then another 12 years to read, and there are hundreds of scriptures. It's just practically impossible. So that's why Mahaprabhu has made it so much easier.
Chanting
so much easier for us. Just chant the holy names and Cheto Darpana Mahajanam. Just with that, we can be placed in that situation. And then just that the third verse, Sixthashtakam, is also so much important. Like Trinadapi Sunijina Taroreva Sahisnuna Amani Namadadena Kirtanya Sadhari. It's so simply defined by Mahaprabhu. So that is our hope. And Prabhupada has given us the hope. And he says in one conversation, he says, how long does it take someone to perfect?
Once again.
Isn't it? Did you see the video? Prabhupada's eyes were hiding like 1 second, 1 moment.
1 second. Haven't you read Bhagavad Gita?
Yeah.
Haven't you read Bhagavad Gita? It takes 1 second.
Yeah. His eyes were like, what are you talking about? 1 moment, 1 second. So Prabhupada's words, we'll get there. And also it is, there's a very nice analogy Prabhupada makes. I be sitting in the plane. We just see outside, when we go on a long haul flight, we don't see a lot of movement because it just seems the same cloud, the same situation. Am I getting anywhere? But surely, the distance is being covered. So the process definitely works, and we have, personally experienced so much. It is our experience, which is what is like all of you wonderful devotees are here every single day. Nityam Bhagavata Seva is already going on. We're getting the taste. There is some taste coming out. That's why we're all here. We're getting the taste in their chanting. That's why we're chanting every day. We get that. Krishna gives us that little drop of the ocean, which is bottomless and shoreless ocean of nectar, of bliss.
And today I was just doing a Bhagavad Gita discussion with another devotee. And we're doing one of the verses where actually it's the beginning of Bhagavad Gita. And there, the battlefield itself, where it had so much potency because the Denijani needs to come and worship, and the fight is going there. So battlefield itself, which is hasn't got a soul, but itself is so potent. So if we discuss and hear this as a spirit soul, how much good vibe will go around us. And that will help the condition because we are doing it ourselves. And so that vibration will go along and it will help all the environment, ourselves and our environment and somebody else will be benefited. So I was just, we're thinking about that way. Right. So it's really good to come and do discussion, hearing. Actually, we are helping ourselves and it will rub off to somebody else, whatever we take. It will help people also.
Amazing, yes. So wonderful.
Thank you.
Guruji, just one quick point, I think an expansion to what Imam Mataji also pointed out. I think it's sometimes we underestimate how much clarity Srila Prabhupada has given us through understanding the Supreme Personality of Godhead and everything in the universe and how everything in creation fits together so perfectly. And I think we're so fortunate. And as you rightly said, it's 90% of the Hindu population don't understand the relationships. There's still this myth of this Holy Trinity, Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva, and that Brahma is the creator, and that they're all equal, and that there are 333 million demigods, sorry, gods rather than demigods. It's a whole misconception, and it's not really the masses' fault, because it's just the education process. Just it's handed down like that. You know, parent says that, or that we have 333 million demigods, and they're all the same, and you should worship all of them. So this, although we shouldn't be, as you rightly say, be judgmental as devotees, we shouldn't, because it's just a lack of education in a large part of things, that they just don't know what the reality is and who Krishna is in relation to everyone else.
Yes.
So we're so fortunate to have Srila Prabhupada's clarity with us.
Prabhupada has made it so much easier for us. You know, there are so many books that are available in the market. I always think, when I see, you know, the software books, I don't know if you've seen this, for dummies, like Cloud for Dummies, this for dummies, that for dummies. Prabhupada has just created all these beautiful, you know, verses, purports, and so many classes, lectures, all his disciples as well. Other aspect, like we can see that his disciples have given us so much more clarification. Here, the classes, we get more and more and more and more. And it just makes it so much easier for everyone. Yes, thank you so much for raising this, Shailesh Prabhu.
And thank you for a wonderful class, Prabhuji.
Sorry, I was a bit unorganized. I just updated the software and they missed the whole aspect of permission and this and that. So many, it's not easy. I'll set it up next time. Thank you so much for your patience and your mercies and blessings. Thank you so much. So just
Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna, everybody. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.